Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of StoryBoardEm, where the show where we're just two friends who love movies and we pitch our own ideas for you guys to enjoy and judge us on and tell us which ones you think are cool. From now on, we're hopefully going to be streaming across more platforms, so we'll be on some podcast areas instead of just YouTube. So previously we were just on YouTube. So if you want to catch our previous episodes, they're available there on StoryBoardEm YouTube channel. But hopefully now we can reach a bigger audience with some more um, podcast areas. So today we're going to be pitching a versus movie. This was initially for King Kong versus Godzilla. We're a little bit late, but now we're going to pitch a versus movie between different franchises. So I think I'll go first with my pitch, and then as I'll pitch his afterwards. Cool. So my pitch for my versus movie, I'll won't give you the title, but it'll become clear once you start hearing the pitch. So we're gonna open with a room in like a kind of bunker with loads like military and official looking people kind of sat around. And they're all like kind of like talking really loudly, like kind of all distressed, and they're like, yeah, we've got Godzilla. He's attacking loads of cities, and he's like destroying loads of things. And then we've got all these other monsters, and they're like in different cities and all over the world destroying stuff. And as we can't take them on, like there's no one who could stop him. And then one guy like stands up and he's military guy, and he's like, we need to do something. We need to put together some kind of team to take them on, like these like kaiju monsters, or whatever you want to call them, like all over the world. We need a team to stop them. And then someone else stands up and he's like, what kind of team, like what kind of squad would take on these monsters? That would be suicide. And then and then from the background, a woman walks in and she's like, you mean some kind of suicide squad? And the woman is Amanda Waller. And then we cut to our title screen, Godzilla versus Suicide Squad.
Ooh.
So that is my crossover. So for the movie, we're gonna start, and we're gonna have, like I said, there's monsters attacking all over the world, and everyone needs to stop them, and they don't know how. So Amanda Waller puts together the Suicide Squad. This is like a DC universe, monster universe crossover. And we have the kind of typical DC Suicide Squad members. So there's like obviously Harley Quinn, and then you got like the King Shark, Killer Croc, whatever, Deadshot, Rick Flag, Captain Boomerang. And I'll probably maybe throw in like, some of the other B list, like maybe Riddler or Killer Frost, the is it like the dot guy who's in the new Suicide Squad. I can't remember his name. That guy. So yeah, all these just kind of like B-list villains, throw them in there. And then so yeah, the movie's gonna start, and the first mission they go on is to take down like a decent sized kind of monster. It's not Godzilla, like they'll be build up to like Godzilla at the end. And this was just like one of the other kind of monsters that they fight. I can't remember all the Godzilla names, monster names. And anyway, there's like a big fight scene. They all try and like take down this monster, but it's like too much for them. So they're basically like they're only tiny. They're like normal sized humans, basically. Most of the Suicide Squad, and like the shark guy's huge and stuff, but it's like a giant monster, and they basically don't really get anywhere. They hit it with like all their weapons, and they're like, yeah, this is doing nothing. Like Harley Quinn's got like a baseball bat, and she's like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, what is the point? So you kind of thinking, yeah, this crossover is a bit crap. Like, what is happening here? It's like the Suicide Squad are not going to get anywhere with a giant monster. So, okay, fair enough. So anyway, they then we go back to like the Suicide Squad fail. Like maybe a couple of them get like crushed by this monster and just killed, and the rest of them are just like, yeah, F this, forget it, we're out. Like it's not worth dying like against this giant monster. They just leave. And Amanda Waller has to activate like their shock collar things to like disable them and kidnap them, like, capture them again, whatever. Anyway, then we're back in this like original bunker where they were discussing that plan. And everyone's like, oh, Amanda Waller, like, what were we doing? Like, Suicide Squad, that was a rubbish idea. Like, they're just rubbish. They can't take on these monsters. It's like, we need, like, and then Amanda's like, no, don't worry. We just need a bit more power. Like and I could give it to them. And he's like, what are you they're like, what are you gonna do? He's like, don't worry, I called it a favor from a friend and he can help us out. And then from the we have another walk on, someone entering a room, and it's some guy we just hear like a British accent, a deep British voice of, yeah, I can help with that. In walks Idris Elba from Pacific Rim. Dressed in
A
his
triple crossover.
Pacific Rim outfit for the triple crossover. And we have a Suicide Squad plus Pacific Rim versus Godzilla crossover. I don't know how Idris Elba's still alive because he died in Pacific Rim, spoiler, but he's comes in the movie. And the crossover is then going to be Suicide Squad plus Pacific Rim. And basically, what they're going to do is build a specific Jaeger for each Suicide Squad, like 2 members together. So like each Jaeger is going to be like, like themed for them. So you can have one with like say Idris Elba and Harley Quinn in it, which is like a normal Jaeger, but like painted in her colors, with like carrying a baseball bat or something stupid.
Yeah.
And then like a king shark one where it can like jump in the water in like an underwater Jaeger, and then like whoever his partner is, so say his partner's like Riddler, it's also got like I don't know a Riddler like trap things that you can throw or something like that. I don't know. And then yeah, like a Killer Frost one that's got like a freeze gun, or Captain Cold with a freeze gun, whatever. And yeah, like a Deadshot one, it'd obviously have like some crazy guns, and then like yeah, it's basically themed the Jaegers around the Suicide Squad. Is the thing. So yeah, they build like these Jaegers, and they're all like Suicide Squad ones. And then yeah, they use them to go and fight the insane monsters. So they build up. Then it's gonna be like maybe a montage of them like fighting all these different monsters. And there's like loads of them all over the world or whatever. Same with like Pacific Rim, where they just fight loads of monsters. Basically, that's what this movie is. Not a super smart movie. There's no like insane intense story or drama in it. And that's pretty much it. Yeah. So we got the crossover between Pacific Rim, Suicide Squad versus Godzilla.
But wait,
Uh,
who wins? Who wins?
yeah. So then right at the end, they fight Godzilla. And then there's like all of them, and then they do like a Voltron. Their bots like come together like to form like a Suicide Squad mega Jaeger thing. They like join together, and then they fight Godzilla, and then they lose, and he like destroys their thing, their bot thing. And then they're like, "Ah, like we need like kind of more help. Like where can we get more help from?" This is like then yeah, actually I think the film's gonna end there. So that'll be it. Like Godzilla was too strong, but he's like kind of Godzilla. He always lives at the end of the film. Like he's kind of a badass. And that's gonna end. And then like the post credits is gonna be like the Suicide Squad kind of walking away from the fight. Like he was too strong, blah blah. And then like there's like another crew that are like that walk up to him, like, I think we can help. And it's the crew from the new Power Rangers movie, and they're like, we can help you out. And it's like a quadruple crossover. And the next movie is gonna have like the Power Rangers like Zord bots that come together, and they're gonna join with the Suicide Squad and fight Godzilla in Pacific Rim plus Suicide Squad plus Power Rangers versus Godzilla Part 2.
Godzilla's just too OP. Like, how many franchises are you bringing in to try and stop one
Three
Godzilla?
franchises, every franchise with giant robots, basically.
How many of the Suicide Squad members are going to die? Like what's the death? Not ratio, but yeah, like percentage in terms of.
Well, yeah, like some of them are gonna die in the beginning. Like in Suicide Squad, like Slipknot guy
Yeah,
just dies straight away. Like there's gonna be some
yeah.
like write-off characters which are just like written off straight away. So I don't know, you put in like like the
What
kind of
percentage of the squad is going to make it to the end of the film? Put it that way.
most of them will make it to the end of the film, because I want like you can't kill off like Will Smith and Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. Like you just like
Mm.
that's just not gonna happen. Will Smith would just not allow himself to be killed off in a movie. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, they'd just be like the crappy ones that are killed off. Like maybe the shark guy will die. Like I mean, I haven't seen the new Suicide Squad, but maybe he
I've
dies
not seen the new
anyway.
Suicide Squad. I'm hoping I'm
Yeah.
going to go today to watch it.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah.
But yeah, so them crappy ones will die, and then at the end, like there'll be like maybe half the team or something left, like the good ones.
But
And
yeah, so what I mean, it sounds like you're making the tone of the film like a very heroic Suicide Squad. Like, well, are we going to be rooting for the Suicide Squad? I know I've said it to you before, and you're more like the best Suicide Squad stories are the ones where they're just villains and you don't really need to root for them. But here it sounds like you're making them
Yeah,
out
but
to
they're
be the
being they're
heroes
being
towards the end.
they're being forced to do it though. Like they're being put into
Yeah.
these super. Like I said, initially when they fight God's, don't fight
Because I
Godzilla,
mean,
but one.
Godzilla's typically a good guy, you know. I kind of root for Godzilla in most of these films.
Yeah, but he wins right at the end. That's what I'm saying. It's only
All
when then
right,
they meet the
okay.
Power Rangers and they're like, "Yo, we can help you out."
The Voltron.
Yeah, they Voltron at the end. Um, yeah, initially that's what I'm
Um,
saying. They fight one of the monsters, the Suicide Squad just run away. Like they're just like, forget this.
uh, how
Um,
big's the destruction? Are we leveling out what, just the whole of Tokyo, or is the whole of Japan, or is it
yeah,
a
loads of
continent?
cities.
What? How big is it?
Yeah,
Multiple
loads.
cities. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
multiple
what I like to
cities are
see.
destroyed. Yeah. There's enough destruction in this film and enough crossover and enough like action and ridiculous plot to fill at least like 3 Zack Snyder movies. So, and it's
Okay.
going to be directed by Zack Snyder actually as well. Yeah. So
Oh, that
it's
was my next question.
going to be Snyder
Z- I
directed
think
movie.
I think I have to jump in with a criticism here. I think you missed a trick, man. Surely you go with Michael Bay.
Ah, you know what? Yeah, Michael Bay could be. You know what? Maybe I'll do like what they did with Justice League. So Snyder will start off directing it, then he'll leave. Michael Bay will come in and finish it, and then we'll release the Snyder cut later on.
Marketing masterclass, right? So you
Mascot
basically
there. That's
making
what you
three
do.
different movies.
That's what you do. You can just resell this movie 3 times because you have to pay for them different franchise fees. So you need to make
Yeah.
at least 3 movies out of this.
Okay, no, I like it. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that drop where it's like who's gonna, this is we need a squad of people to take on Godzilla. Who's gonna do this? This is basically a suicide mission. And then you just come in with the Suicide Squad. I thought that was really cool.
I mean, I did have Amanda Waller say it might be better if Will Smith just reprises his line from the first Suicide Squad, where he's like, "What are we, some kind of Suicide Squad?" It's like
Some cat Suicide Squad.
he might just say that again. Like he walks in, he's like, "What do you mean, like some kind of Suicide Squad?" If you could walk in and do that, that'd be good. But I don't think that fits his character, so I don't know how to work that in.
Hmm. Okay.
But that is my
All right,
pitch.
cool.
So it's like a multi crossover insane action, stupid plot film. So perfect for Michael Bay, Zack Snyder, or any other like director in that
Hmm.
category.
Okay. All right. Well, as a Zack Snyder fan, I do resent that last comment. So, yeah, I think it's time to move on.
All right, let's hear your pitch then, mate.
Cool. All right. So, pitch a versus movie, right? So, I went a bit broader here. I didn't stick to just the MonsterVerse, although I do have a big monster in this. So, I'm gonna set the scene for you here. Right. The biggest, most epic franchise probably in the history of all movies, right? We're returning back to the world of Lord of the Rings. And this is here to, partially it's here to promote the Amazon Prime series that we'll be launching. But partly it's here just because we got full creative freedom, right? Now it's a made-up story I've got. So this isn't part of the official lore. You won't find in the Silmarillion or anything like that. I'm not even entirely sure what age it's at. But as you can imagine, you transport back to sort of Middle Earth. Probably, you're actually in Mordor and you're following this band of let's just say there's another fellowship. Let's just say there's another ring. Let's just say there's sort of typical Lord of the Rings type of shenanigans that need to be happening, right? But the big problem with the movie that happens is somehow our band of heroes, they get trapped inside a volcano, which is actually the lair of a giant Balrog, right? Or they're on an island that is just guarded by a Balrog, so they can't either. They've lost their
Are you
their
doing
precious
a
item.
Lord? Are you doing a Lord of the Rings what if?
It's not so much a what if. It's more like it's like a side mission, right? So you got Frodo and the guys trying to destroy the one ring, and then you got these guys that have got like a semi-important ring that Sauron maybe he's not, maybe like Sauron's middle manager is a bit more concerned with, right? So so I mean the stakes aren't as high, but it's still typical Lord of the Rings fashion. Now they're stuck on this island with the Balrog, and the Balrog's guarding whatever the item is, and obviously they can't escape the island, they can't thing. So they need to call in some backup, right? So they they sound the horns of not the horns of Gondor, but some of the special messaging horns. So they call in, but you got to think, right? They got to call in a team. They need a team of a special team of
Don't
people.
you dare call it the Suicide Squad.
No, not calling it the Suicide Squad. I'm not calling it the Suicide Squad. That would have been a great shout, but no, my team needs to be a bit more, together. They need to be a bit more organized. They need to have structure. They need to be able to get things done. They need to be able to adapt to different environments. They're going to be on sort of an island in the lair of a Balrog. They got to, have a clear leader. They got to have clear skills, and they have to have proven track record of, dealing with just random big and not faltering in the name of danger. So when you lay all of that out, when there's requirements out, I think there really is only one team that you can call in for such a mission, which is why they're going to be sounding off the horns to call in the Penguins of Madagascar.
Yes, bro. I was waiting to see what your team was going to be, and you did not disappoint. That was good.
I've been doing the analysis. I don't think, I was thinking maybe
Kowalski analysis.
Ethan Hunt. Yeah, exactly. I was thinking maybe it's Ethan Hunt and the Mission Impossible team. But I was like, the Balrog's not really going to care if you're wearing a mask of a Balrog or not. I mean, it is a bit of a heist mission, but I don't want them to just retrieve the ring. I want them to, take on the Balrog as well. But then I was thinking maybe get the Fast and Furious guys in, but then the Balrog's probably got his own family. So, the issues that would come with Dom facing up against the Balrog probably aren't worth it. So yeah, I mean, the Penguins of Madagascar, I think they're the only ones that can get this job done, right? Like you said, you've got Kowalski to do the full analysis. We've got the scouts to come in, check out the island, the exit routes, probably where the things are. You got Skipper. Skipper's going to absolutely lead that mission. He's going to get them in, get the item, get them out. No man left behind, right? He knows how to build an airplane from absolute junk, so they're not going to be stuck there in Mordor. You're probably going to be able to fly over Mount Doom and just airdrop that ring directly from above. But that's as far as I got, and I'm going to probably take a different approach here. Rather than ending the pitch, I just want to open a question up to you. Like, what could the Balrog do to defeat the Penguins of Madagascar? I can't figure that out. I don't see how the Balrog could inflict any damage on them. I mean, they can. I'm not sure if they can fly or not, but I mean, penguins they can kind of fly. They've got all the weapons, they've got the toolkit, the box, the analysis, the teamwork. I mean, I think it's just a clear win. Penguins of Madagascar, that Balrog is getting absolutely embarrassed and happily ever after, I think.
That you've made such an airtight argument for the pros of the Penguins being able to beat the Balrog that there's no argument with that. Like, how can you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see. I mean, the Balrog,
they got every advantage over the Balrog, who's like a literal demon god of fire and stone. Like, how could he defeat 4 small penguins? Like, I mean,
yeah, I mean, you could say that the environmental advantage goes to the Balrog, right? All the heat and the fire, but the Penguins of Madagascar, they've spent ages in Madagascar. They're accustomed to the heat. Like, it doesn't phase them. You could argue that's when they do some of their best work. So,
but what? Here's the issue though. What's in it for them? Why would they care?
That might be a plot hole that you've just uncovered, actually. Because typically what happens is the Penguins end up in the scenario, right? And in
the Madagascar movies, they only ever kind of help out when it's something in it for them. Like, they're always doing their own thing, and then just if the other Madagascar characters happen to be there, they'll help them out, but otherwise they're just in it for themselves.
That is true. We might have to incentivize the Penguins of Madagascar somehow.
I mean, the Sauron destroying Middle Earth might be an incentive. So,
but perhaps, maybe they want a nice island resort somewhere in Middle Earth, and they find out that this is at risk, so we kind of gotta go in, get this, and yeah. But I mean, the brunt of the movie, like you can just imagine, right? Like that final face-off when it finally does happen, right? Those 4 penguins versus the Balrog. I think that is probably could be one of the defining moments of cinema, of a generation, if I do say so myself.
Okay, so that leads on to who's directing your movie?
Who's directing my movie? I'm not entirely sure. I've not really given the direction much thought.
You
Who
need
do you think
like you need
could do
someone
that quite well?
with someone who do
Oh no,
the
no, I've got it. I've
penguins.
got it. I think there is only one person that would be able to pull this movie off. Because if you want, the seriousness and the intimidation and the high stakes of the Balrog sets, and obviously, the great sort of directing and the visually appeasing side of Middle Earth, Mordor. But then you also want the comedic element of the Penguins of Madagascar and just that high stakes, high impact, high action. Then
Okay, I've
I
got
think
someone in
there
my
is
head. Who you
only
got?
well, I thought it could only be Taika Waititi
Oh, that's a good one. I was gonna go
just
very.
because of the
I was.
wackiness.
I was gonna go very similar and say James Gunn.
I was thinking James Gunn, but I don't think James Gunn's as wacky as I want the movie to be. Like I want the
True.
Penguins. I want them to really absolutely demolish this Balrog, right? Like I want you to almost watch this movie and then rewatch the Lord of the Rings trilogy and think, well, they kind of made a big deal out of it. That wasn't too bad. They could have, just flying a jet the One
Are
Ring
you
and just
gonna have
airdropped it.
any other like Lord of the Rings cameos in your movie? Is it like gonna cross over with the actual original Fellowship, or are you just keeping that completely separate?
Well, I think what all right. If we want to sort of flesh this movie out a bit, I think what could happen is the Penguins of Madagascar defeat the Balrog, but then for them to destroy whatever the item is, let's say it's another ring, they need they need help. They need an army to get into wherever. We're just going to parody the entire third Lord of the Rings movie, right? And so the Penguins of Madagascar are going to be like indoctrinated into the army of the elves and the army of men, and you can
Right.
imagine sort of all of them on their horses, like kitted out in armor and everything. And so just all this, crazy action going on around them, fighting orcs and everything, and just sort of four penguins of Madagascar. Oh, you could even have them fighting, like one of the Nazgul. How cool would that be? I think they just made for that world. I think it has to be done, and I think we've got to work extremely hard to get the studios to come together and green like this.
I was just gonna say, did you do Lord of the Rings just so you can get Jeff Bezos to fund your movie?
That might be the way, yeah, because we're going to be promoting the show. So I think, yeah, I think some of the money that's being thrown about there, you can bring it in.
No, that was an epic pitch. I did not expect Penguins of Madagascar. Trying to say, I mean, I was thinking where you go with this team and
Who
like
did you
what.
think? Who did you have any thoughts of when I was alluding to
No, I
who
honestly
might have
had
been?
no idea what your team was going to be, and I was thinking like this better be good, like because you hyped it up a lot. But yeah, you delivered with that with the Penguins. That was a good one.
Okay, cool. I think that the Barrow could come in your movie sequel as well, right?
Oh, I can cross over with the crossover.
Yeah, well, Godzilla needs some backup as well. If you're bringing in literally anyone and everyone, I think Godzilla just calls in his cousin, the Balrog.
Yeah, he could call in Lord of the Rings. Then I might as well just call in like Loki as well, and the rest of like the Avengers villains. Call in
Mm.
Thanos, Darth Vader. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's just the natural progression of versus movies anyway.
Suicide Squad versus Death Star will be the next one. Right, cool. Well, that was a an interesting pitch. And yeah, wicked. So I think we'll wrap up there for this episode of Storyboardem. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know which pitch you thought was best or craziest or whatever you thought about the pitches. Let us know. And we'll see you next time on the next episode.
Cool. Thanks, guys.